What is going on, everybody? It is February. Happy new month. We are going live, okay, right here on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for joining. I am parched. It's that new month, that new coming in, right? So we're excited. We are heading into a new month, and of course, with this new month coming in, I am looking to try to get a challenge in. So I'm trying to get a challenge in this month. All right, guys. So look out for that. But of course, we have other exciting things happening. Of course, you must have seen that we're getting ready for the summit. We have another summit coming up. This is the winter edition. Very, very excited. So 416 Love presents the winter edition of the Seat at Our Table. So we are extremely excited about our Seat at Our Table. It is coming back again by popular demand, which if you have not seen any of our last couple of summits, they are phenomenal. Okay, so it's just a bunch of expert panelists coming to the table, talking to us, giving us their expertise, sharing their knowledge, sharing their products, their services. It's just simply amazing. So we have a great group of individuals coming in for this winter edition on Saturday, February 20th. So make sure you guys join the summit. Of course, you will check the link and just get right into it, man. It's awesome. Okay? So with the Yellow Room, and I'm really excited for this conversation. Of course, we just had Bell Let's Talk Day just the other day, so it is time to talk about it, right?
Hey,
What's up, girl?
how's it going?
It is going good. How's everything with
Everything's
you?
going good as well. I mean, with this
Awesome.
pandemic, like we were indoors, but we're at least speaking to one
Right?
another. We have social media.
Yes. Thank goodness for social media because I don't know what would be going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Right?
I'm loving your head wrap. Hey, I
Thank
love it. It's
you.
so
Thank
cute.
you.
It's kind of like
Thank you.
gold, yellow, like you got it.
It's all
I
over. It's
love
got so many colors. Green in there, white, cream, all of it.
it.
All
Okay,
of it.
I love it. So cute.
So happy new month.
Yes.
It's February, right? Coming in. It's a new month and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what, this new month has going on. I feel like January went really, really fast. What about you?
Really, I feel a bit of like it went slow, it went fast. It was just medium to me.
Yeah, it just kind of
It kind
flowed.
of flowed. It was like,
Yeah.
but I was doing a lot, so I was preparing for the course and stuff. So we're
Whew,
gonna
we're
get
gonna
into
get
that.
into it, girl.
Yeah.
We are going to get into it. So, okay, first off, just introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are and what you
Yeah.
do.
Okay. Hey guys. So my name is Amran Abdi. I'm the founder of the Yellow Room. We provide spiritual insights into worldly situations. Okay. And so we're a mental health advocacy platform. We're for marginalized communities, but specifically because I am a Black woman, I do push for Black people. So, ending the stigma towards mental health. And a little bit about me, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So, when I was diagnosed in 2015, I was like, I need to see more people who are successful, who are doing big things, who, aren't limited by, limiting beliefs about mental health, and who are getting their work done. And so I decided to become a mental health advisor, get certified. And now I'm helping individuals who were just like me, who were going through what I was going through, and get to a better space.
Awesome, awesome. So talk to us about the Yellow Room. Where did that name come from? Like, how did you come up with that?
I love that. I love that. So, really and truly, I came up with the name when I was thinking about the dark space that I was in. So, when it comes to depression, right, you're in like this dark space. Your room is usually like dark. You put on like dark curtains, you turn the lights off, you're in a dark space. So, I was like, why don't I think of like a room that's bright, right? And yellow is actually a high frequency color. So most people don't know this. It's a high frequency, high vibration color. So I'm like, okay, it's time to get on to that high vibration and get to that room where you actually change your reality. You don't have to be in a dark space. You don't have to be in depression. You don't have to have anxiety riddle you, you know? And so the yellow room is
Right.
like when somebody's in that dark space, they can just go, oh, okay, go on Instagram, go to the yellow room, and go to a bright space where like people are speaking about mental health and like they understand me, you know?
Right. Yes,
That's what
100%.
I
So talk to us about the services. Talk to us about what the Yellow Room does, what we can go there for.
Okay, so you really what we've been focusing on the last few years have been our conferences. And now that there's a
Okay.
pandemic, it's a little bit different. We're doing it on Zoom. So our most recent conference was on November 11th. And then we have lived experience panel. We have a lived experience panel. We have a panel of psychiatrists, doctors, social workers, people who are in the field who speak about mental health and how they interact with their clients. And so, and the stigma about it. And we just give them a platform. So again, I said it's a mental health advocacy platform. So having individuals
Mm.
who work in the field who want to advocate for mental health, as well as people with lived experience who want to share their stories. So I facilitate those conferences, and it's called the shift in mindset from fear-based thinking to love-based thinking, right? So we need to shift from fear to love, and that's what's most important. So all of our conferences are called the shift from fear to love, but hey, so we shift from fear to love, but most importantly, each conference has a focus. So the conference most recently was on COVID. So we had doctors who actually had COVID speak about their shift from fear to love and how they dealt with it from a mental health perspective, like COVID. What other services
Right.
we provide is one-on-one. So for me, I do one-on-one sessions as a mental health advisor. I go through these sessions, I speak with individuals, and I figure out their problems with, like, mind you, I'm a mental health advisor. I am not a mental health, like, doctor. So I do take them to that route if I feel that they need a therapist or they need a psychiatrist. I do advise them on that. So that's what I do as a mental health
Mhm.
advisor. But I do have a 4-pillar system that we go through.
Okay.
So the 4-pillar system is the inevitable pain. So everybody goes through this inevitable pain. So you go through a life trauma, struggle, you go through this inevitable pain. Then the second pillar is you go through mental health. You go through a mental health challenge. This mental health challenge is your way of a higher power calling back to you and telling you, hey, come back to me. The universe calling you and saying, hey, you need to fix up. What is it that you need to fix
Mhm.
up? So in the mental health pillar, that's usually where clients come to me because they're willing to seek mental health support. So they're done with the pain. So now they want to get mental health support. And then the third pillar is so we had the pillar of mental health. Sorry, I'm just reading the comments.
I know. I was just
Happy
like,
Black
Happy
History
Black
Month!
History Month. Yes. What's going on?
Yes, yes. So
Yes. So we have the inevitable pain, and then you said mental health
mental
challenge.
health challenge, and then the third pillar is just literally crossing my mind. I'm trying to figure. Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
the shift from fear to love.
Okay.
So now,
Okay.
after we've gone through the mental health and we've gone through the pillars, individuals are willing to shift from fear to love. So they shift from fear to love. And then the last is authenticity and vulnerability. So that's where we want to get our clients to an authentic and vulnerable state, where they're able to have these kind of conversations, where they're able to come out and, you know, stick up for themselves. Like if they were going through narcissistic abuse, like, you know, stand up for themselves. Like, okay, be authentic about it, tell your story,
Mhm.
be able to talk about
Mhm.
it. And that is the space where you're able to get real therapy. That is the place where you're able to get real healing, you know? So those are the 4 pillars, and we
Yes.
go through that 4-pillar system with our clients.
Yes.
So yeah, Black History Month. Yes, Mubarak.
Yes, it is. It is. But you just touched on something that I was like, I never really put two and two together. So being in a narcissistic relationship, because I did have somebody on a couple of weeks ago talking about narcissism and being in a narcissistic relationship, and you're bringing it in, like you're lining it up with mental health issues.
Oh yeah,
So for somebody who is in a narcissistic relationship, do they suffer from mental health issues?
of course. Of course, of course, of course.
Yeah.
I'll talk from my own experience. I recently just got out
Mhm.
of a narcissistic relationship, and it doesn't need to be a relationship with a partner. It doesn't have to be romantic. Mine wasn't romantic. It was a friendship.
Right.
So it was a friendship that I was in that was narcissistic.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
narcissism is when you're being torn down, when you're being told, you can't amount to anything, when you're not being supported, when your ideas are not validated, when you're being pushed down. And as an entrepreneur, what do you think that was doing to me? How can I flourish
Right.
in that type of environment? So what it did to my
Hmm.
mental health, and I'm still healing from that as we speak. Like it's not
Yeah.
not so what narcissism, for as long as you were in the narcissistic abuse, it takes half the time to heal. So for me, it was 3 years. So
Wow.
it takes a year and a half to heal from the narcissistic abuse. Now, unless you're Superwoman, which anybody, which anybody can, I believe that you can heal faster. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking
Right.
about
Right.
textbook. I've
Yeah.
talked to a psychiatrist about this, who is A1.
Mm.
She's really great about this. If anyone needs me to connect her with you, she's this Italian woman who knows much about narcissistic abuse, and she's a psychiatrist. And she's been talking to me about narcissistic abuse, and I've been learning what it is all about. And they do suffer from mental health because it's your self-worth is questioned. And when your self-worth is questioned, you get into a state of depression. When you get into a state of depression, now you're having a mental health challenge. And mind you, the
Yes.
narcissistic person is also going through mental health challenges because
I
that
think
is
it's-
transgenerational trauma. They've been
Mhm.
abused before. That's why they're abusing you. So it's just both
Right.
people are just going through mental health challenges.
Definitely. Wow. So half the time you were in the relationship is what the healing has to be.
Yeah.
And then, whew.
I,
And then so what does healing look like then? Like how do you heal? Are you using the same seven pillars
yeah.
or four pillars?
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm
Yes.
glad that you see
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
right now I'm in the authenticity and vulnerability state. But because
Right.
I knew all this information, it took me a month to get there.
Right.
On my own.
Right.
First, I was angry. I was I
Yeah.
was in a low frequency. I was like, no, this didn't happen. They did this to me. Like it was that, you
Yeah.
know? And even as a mental health
Mm-hmm.
advisor, like, okay, so as a brain surgeon, right? You can't do surgery on
Mm-hmm.
yourself. So as a mental health
Right.
advisor, you can't do advising on yourself usually. You have to seek
Yeah.
resources. So I had to go to a
Mm-hmm.
therapist. I had to go
Mm-hmm.
get help, and that's totally fine. I had to go see a
Yeah.
psychiatrist to talk to. Like that's totally not a
Mm-hmm.
problem. Just got to
Right.
be honest with it. Like I got abused. Like let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Yep.
keep it moving. Like it happened.
Healing, healing, right? Wow. Okay. Okay. So that's good. So you know what? I always come across different definitions of mental health. So like, what does that mean to you? Like, what's your definition of it?
Mental health genuinely means like it's similar to physical health for me. So it's like physical health.
Right.
Like if anyone says mental health, I'm like, hey, okay, you need to just check up on yourself. Like, oh, take a mental health day. Like you need to just check up on your thoughts. Like you just need some meditation. Like you're just like your brain's exhausted. You need
Yeah.
some mental health help. Um, but what I
Hmm.
also figured out is when it comes to mental health, it's a spiritual calling from a higher power.
Talk about it.
So, so as you can see, the yellow room is spiritual insights into worldly situations. So
Right.
it's like people who go through mental health challenges are seeing deeper than the 3D.
Hmm.
They see on 5D. They're feeling
Yeah.
on a more deeper frequency. So when you get onto
Hmm.
the spiritual realm, you just realize, hey, mental health is a calling from a higher power. You were doing something like there's this direction you were supposed to go through, and you just were somehow going that way, and now mental health is calling you to come back to the straight path. And so that's
Right.
like my belief system about mental health, and really it's just like redirecting you towards your
Hmm.
purpose.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
And so that's important.
yeah.
That's important to remember, because I don't think a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, maybe some people do, but you never really hear the spiritual side of mental health, when it comes to mental health issues. It's never really out there, right?
Exactly, and that's what makes us different at the Yellow Room, because spirituality is our forefront. This is what we speak about. If you're not spiritual, you're not going to want to hear about like the Yellow Room. You're just not. You don't want to, you don't want to listen to it, right? If you genuinely don't believe in the spiritual aspect plus the medicinal aspect of mental health, like we combine both. You do need therapy, you do need a doctor, you do need medication. That's totally fine. But you do need
Right.
prayer. You do need God. You do need the universe, Jesus, Allah, whatever you want to claim it. At the end of the day, it's a spiritual calling to just get right. And that's what mental
Hmm.
health is all about.
Yeah, 100%. And then of course we all know, like, it was just Bell Let's Talk Day, and everybody understands now, like everybody, I feel like more and more people are talking about mental health. And then so that hopefully that is crushing the stigma behind it. But how do you feel about, speaking about the
I love
stigma
that.
and right?
What I feel about Bell Let's Talk, it's a good initiative,
Yeah,
right?
right.
But my thing is like, we can't just talk about it for one day. That's one thing.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
another thing that really annoys me. I'm a Bell, I use Bell myself, so like I'm supporting Bell, you know? But I really feel that mental health can't just be just one day, one week.
Yeah.
Like we should have like weekly mental health like events and weekly mental health days, and now
Mhm.
that there's COVID, we should have more of these events happening weekly,
Yeah.
bi-weekly, monthly. We should have like more events. That's number one. Number two, my take on what I see with the Bell Let's Talk is it was really awkward this year. Like people were just stating, I don't remember exactly the words they were using, but they were like, I take care of my mental health, or it was just very robotic, and like
Mm.
the videos, like the people in the videos didn't represent me. Like I didn't see immigrants on the videos. Like I was trying to look for like, where's the hijabi woman, okay, like what's going on. And then the
Yeah.
marketing for it, there was just a lot of things that I didn't really like I didn't enjoy. I
Right.
don't know much about what they do with their money, or like what they're involved in. Like I just don't know. And the thing is, I can't
Hmm.
make a comment about it because they might be doing amazing work, right? But I
Right.
just feel
Right.
like there needs to be more of that, and not just one day. And
100%.
yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah.
And having like
No, I
our
agree with
trans
you
community involved. Like, I don't see
100%.
no black people. I'm like, where's my
Yeah.
black people?
Yeah. And then so like what do you feel about the stigma though? Like when you are out there, because you're on the front lines, you're talking to different people, how do you feel about the stigma behind mental
So
health?
it took me a long time, and it's still an emotional moment for me, to be honest with you, because like I still meet day to day people who are like, oh, you have bipolar, like that's a little
Yeah.
off, and or like ask me questions that are really weird. um and I'm just like, all I need to do is take medication and I'm completely like totally fine. You're not going to see me
Hmm.
jumping off walls or doing something wild, You're safe with me. Like, don't worry, I take my medication. But what the worst stigma was the stigma I had. That's
Mm.
the hardest stigma. So like I had to literally be like, I'm okay with medication. It's fine for me to take my meds, and like I'm not a defect, I'm not a disabled, I'm not this, I'm not that, whatever society puts you under as somebody with bipolar disorder.
Mm.
I had to fight those labels. So I was just like nobody even knows I have bipolar disorder unless I tell them. So why is it even a big deal? I just go through challenges that are different than other people's. Other people's challenges might be different than mine. Everybody's going through a challenge. It's just a different challenge. That's it.
Mhm.
So when I got
Mhm.
over my own stigma, that was the hardest stigma. Then I didn't care what anyone else had to say. And so a lot of people still talk to me about this till today because they think it's like really like, wow, like you can tell people you have bipolar disorder. Like, how do you do it? And for me, it's because it's my kingdom calling. why
Right.
why I call it my kingdom calling is that it's just something that comes easy for me. After I got over it for myself, I can say to people, hey, I have bipolar disorder. It's totally normal. This is how it looks. Let's go. And so I feel like I'm that walking example for people with bipolar disorder. Um, and
Right.
I am there to help other people get out of that stigma that they live in.
First of all, you need to big up yourself. That is huge. No, because you know what? People are always, like you said, like we all have things about ourselves that we need to face in the mirror. And that is so good. It is like you basically just put the stigma on yourself. Okay, this is my stigma. I need to get over myself. And then once you get over yourself, you're good out there. You're good to go.
Yeah,
And that could be applied in any aspect in life. So that is huge. That is
she's
huge.
right. She's right.
Big up
She's right.
yourself, girl.
She's right.
That's big, big, big.
You are.
Holy. No, that's
Because
definitely.
once you can fight that battle of what other people are saying about you, then you can finally understand, like, it doesn't matter what other people say about you. So then you can apply it to any part of your life. So in your
Yeah.
career, you won't feel a type of way if anyone says anything about you. In your waking life with your family or anything like that, you can always feel like nobody's saying anything about you. That it doesn't matter if they do, because you are comfortable with yourself. So that's what
Yeah.
happened with bipolar disorder. I was comfortable with myself, and
100%.
that took a
And did
while.
you
That
yeah,
that wasn't easy.
yeah, for sure. And I see Rebecca in the building. What's up, Rebecca? She says you can't work you got to pay attention to what you're saying to yourself. That's
Oh yes,
100%. And then you can't put work I'm not sure what she means there, but you got to work on your self-image. Definitely.
yes. That's what
Definitely.
it was. The stigma of bipolar disorder was basically looking in the mirror and being like,
Hmm.
"Hey, do I love myself?" It was a self-love journey. It's like, okay, today, like if today I have cancer, if today I have diabetes, today I have some illness, am I going to love myself? It was just simply like that. So just look in the
Hmm.
mirror, and why are people saying what they're saying about this illness? Because it doesn't look like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Huge. Huge. And then so did you have to work with like forgiving yourself too,
Oh,
with being hard on yourself? Because I could imagine.
I had to forgive myself, but most importantly, when you have bipolar disorder, another thing is you have episodes, right? So then with the
Mm,
episodes, people fall off. So
mm,
that's another problem. Like it's the hardest, I think the hardest thing that I had to deal with as an extrovert was losing people
mm,
in my life.
mm.
So that wasn't easy.
Yeah.
When you lose people in your
Yeah.
life, you're just like, okay, it's because of because of an illness, it's just not
Hmm.
easy, right? Because they have their own
Yeah.
stigmas against it.
100%. It's a lot. Definitely is a lot.
And
So, but you're doing an awesome
sometimes you
job.
don't know why, because in the beginning, in 2015, I didn't know why they were just cutting me off. And then later on, I
Mm,
found out, oh, it was because they had stigma against mental health. They don't understand it.
right. Right. And then it's you never know what other people are dealing with too. Sometimes people aren't really honest. So maybe they are dealing with something else. Mental health issues come up in a lot of individuals and a lot of their family members. It is deeper in other people than in the I guess the depth of it differs from one person to the next, but it comes up, I think, in almost every person's life.
Oh, yeah.
We could almost say at one point or another, everybody is dealing with some sort of mental health issues,
Mhm.
right? So it comes up. So who knows what the issues are? But yeah, we definitely love your story.
Thank
Love
you.
it.
Thank
Love it.
you.
Right. You got to definitely go into the spiritual aspect of mental health and what that
Oh,
means to
yes.
you.
Okay, so the spiritual aspect of mental health. So what it means to me is basically mental health is a calling from a higher power. So a higher power that could be Jesus, Allah, the universe, one God, a higher universe that's calling you to say, hey, you're messing up in life. Things are going on
Mhm.
and you need to really focus. You're not focused, right? So mental health is really like literally your body telling you, your mind telling you enough is enough. So
Mm-hmm.
when you get to that point, when you go through these mental health challenges, if you don't take care of it, it can turn into mental illness. So we'll go back to the mental health and spirituality though. So mental health and spirituality, that's the connection that I make. Now, when it comes to how people react to it, like my family took me to the mosque before they took me to the hospital. Now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not, and then there's other people who like take you to the church before they take you to the to the hospital, right? So it depends. Like sometimes you need both. Sometimes you only need like one spiritual healing. It all depends on the severity of the mental health illness that somebody's going through. But
Mm-hmm.
what I genuinely believe that is I could never be here today speaking with you today if I didn't have the spiritual aspect. If there was no prayer
Mm-hmm.
involved, like I'll tell you a story. My medication would not work for me for a whole year and a half. I went through 3 different types of medications until I started praying.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like they kept on wondering, why isn't her medication working? Why isn't her medication working? And then finally my medication started working as I applied prayer. So that's my testimony. Other people's testimonies can be different.
Of course.
So most recently, I was hospitalized in November, for example. My bounce back was like 2 weeks. Why? Because there
Mm-hmm.
was prayer. Like I got onto a new medication, boom, bounce back, like everything was fine. So at the end of the day, I'm living testimony that like prayer is what you need to get through a mental health challenge. When
Yeah.
you're going through that dark space, usually you're hearing thoughts of like you're unworthy, you're not gonna make it, nobody cares about you, nobody loves you. And in that space, most people don't go out of their way to pray. Like they
Mm-hmm.
feel so alone. They're like, nobody cares about me, nobody cares about me, but they don't even realize like God is closer to you than your jugular vein. Like he's right next to you, he's right beside you. So it's just when you start in that dark, dark room, when you start realizing, hey, he's close to me, I need to pray, that's when you start
Yeah.
seeing the shift. That's when you start seeing
Mm-hmm.
the shift in mindset. Hey, I don't need to fear these voices in my head. I don't need to fear these thoughts in my head. I don't need to fear these demonic energies in my head. I just need to get out of this dark space, go to the yellow room, have a good time. So go speak to people who get me. Start
Right.
realizing the universe has so much to offer for me, and I don't need to
Yeah.
listen to the Decepticon,
Mm-hmm.
which is this
Mm-hmm.
dark energy that's roaming around. And I'll tell you guys one thing. This is a big one. Okay, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All thoughts are an illusion, unless it's critical thought. Now, when I say all thoughts are an illusion, think about it. When you're in your deepest, darkest prayers, or like when you're in your deepest, darkest moments and you're in your deep contemplation with God and you're praying, your mind is still. When you're focused, your mind is still. There's not a whole bunch of stuff going on. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're just like walking around on the road and like doing your own thing, all of a sudden there's just this voice, this thought just jumping into your head. And people don't even realize these thoughts is the Decepticon just coming out of nowhere. Some of it is critical thought where you're obviously analyzing something and trying to understand something that you've read. But majority of it is you just having a bunch of junk in your head that are illusions from a dark energy. And once you figure that out, you start realizing, hey, I have to work on the thoughts that are in my head because this is spiritual warfare. And I'm going to work on these thoughts daily. So what you have to do is hourly, by the minute, you have to go to these thoughts. You have to be like, nope, this is wrong. Nope, I don't agree with this. I rebuke, keep it moving. And this is what I have to do. And so what the
Yeah.
medication helps with is it helps with stopping a lot of those thoughts, because people who do have
Mm-hmm.
mental illnesses can't control it because of the biochemical problems that they do have in their brain. But for the average person who goes through mental health challenges, it's a lot less, but it's there, and they need to focus on their thoughts. And that's how you win the spiritual warfare. That and prayer.
Combo. Deadly combo right there, guys. Thinking about what you're thinking about. 100%. And you guys are all right. Pardon me?
He said he's your wellness factor said prayer changes things in general. I too am a walking testimony.
100%.
I love it.
100%. You know what I mean? Prayer is the answer to all questions that we have. Any challenge, any question, anything, definitely we need to pray about it. We need to pray about it. So, that is huge. Huge. Okay, so first of all, you have so many things going on. You are doing this, you're doing that, like you are doing the most out here trying to help everybody do their things. And you started talking about, the spiritual aspect of everything. Talk about this course that you have coming up. I cannot wait to hear all about it. Kingdom Soulmates. Give it to us. Let us know. What is it? What is it?
Okay, so let's go on a journey back to 3 years ago. 3 years ago, it was 2 years into my bipolar disorder, and I was sitting in a chair in my therapist's office, and he looks at me and he says, "You're 25." Actually, it wasn't even 3 years ago. How many years ago was it? I'm 29 now, so it was like 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, he sits there, he's like, "You're 25. You're a beautiful woman. You never talk about men. You never think about men. Like, what's going on? Like, do you not want to ever get married? Do you never want to like have a partner? Like, what's going on?" And I looked at him and I was like, you know what? I never thought about that because I was just too focused on my mental health that I just wasn't thinking about that. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to go on this journey. Like, I need to go on this journey of figuring out, like, my relationships. And so then what ended up happening is I ended up going to the like online resources, like getting to know people, going out to events, trying to figure things out. And I was like, you know what? This is just a hot mess. Like, the dating scene is a hot mess. I don't know what's going on. I have to start researching this. So what I started doing is 3 years of research, communicating with people, trying to, go out on dates, getting to know men for the sake of marriage. And what I found out is I did a lot of research and I figured out how to manifest a soulmate. So I finally manifested a soulmate. And so when I did, I was like, you know what? This is the hardest thing for people to do. And I know how to do it. And me and my friend did it as well. We did it together. Like, we were doing most of the journey a lot together. So she's in Kingdom Marriages. So I'm not married yet. I'm just in Kingdom Soulmates, but she's already in Kingdom Marriages. And so I'm like, you know what? I've seen it happen. I've applied it for myself. She's applied it. It's worked. There's 8 pillars. And I'm like, people need to know about this. This is just something people need to know about. So I put it into a course, and now that's what it's all about, Kingdom Soulmate. So what the course is going to be about is 8 pillars that we go over where you figure out how to manifest your soulmate. So there's simple steps that you have to go through. And some of the topics we talk about is your purpose, your self-development. We do worksheets to figure out like where you are in that self-development stage. There's a lot that we do in terms of, the list. That's a big one. What does your list look like? Helping you manifest your list. I don't want to go into too much details and give away too much stuff, but it's 8 pillars. It's a 4-week course, and 2 weeks of it is coaching calls. And we have Zoom classes on the weekends. So the course is pre-recorded. You watch the course, and then on the weekends we meet up for Zoom so that we can discuss what you watched and how we can get you to where we need to get you to. And then you have one-on-one coaching calls with me so that I can find out, hey, where are you on that? So the course is for anybody who wants to manifest a kingdom soulmate and who's single. But different people are going to be at different stages of that 8 pillars. So some people are going to be at the end of the 8th stage. Some people are going to be in the middle of the 8th stage. Some people are going to be at the beginning of the 8th stage. Like, hey, I don't know myself. I don't know where to go. Some people are going to be like, hey, I kind of found somebody. I'm trying to discern them. Some people are going to be like, hey, I'm at the spiritual warfare part. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to get this to marriage. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
there's all these different stages within the 8 pillars, and anybody who's single, that's who it's for. And if you're sick and tired of it, come through.
Oh my gosh. Okay, but you did mention something that I want to ask you about this list. What does the list mean when you
Okay,
say the list? Yeah.
you have to have a list.
Girl.
You have to have a list. Um,
What is the
I
list?
hate when people think that you don't need a list. People are kind of like 50-50 on whether you need a list when it comes to a relationship. You need to know what you're manifesting. And God says, hey, ask and I shall give you. Okay? So ask and you shall receive. If you need to ask and you shall receive, hello, ask and make a list. Like, I don't
Right.
understand why you don't ask. Like, people are so scared to have conversations with God where you're demanding. And when I mean demanding, I mean like, God, I want this and it has to look like this and I want it to look like this. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't happen exactly the way you wanted it. At least you were
Right.
creative enough to have a conversation with God and be like, this is how I want or what I want. And I've noticed as I've become more bold in my prayers,
Mhm.
bolder things
Yeah.
have been happening in my life. So
Wow.
that's what you need to do. You need to have a relationship with God where you can be bold enough, because this is the God that splits seas. Like, what do you mean? He split seas for Moses. Like, we got a God who's doing like magical things, who created us. You can
Yeah.
ask him for what you need to receive. So
Right.
be bold and go on that list and ask for what you need, but we're specific about what you need and what you want, right? So I do go
Mhm.
over what you need in a relationship, and one of them I'll give out one thing that we talk about is we talk about financials. That's a big one. You need somebody who's going to be open and honest and transparent about their finances. Why? Because marriages
Mhm.
fail due to financial issues. Okay, we have a high
Right.
number of marriages failing due to financial issues. So asking for an open, transparent person about their finances helps you. It helps you so
Yeah.
much. So these are the type of like conversations we go through, and we do go
Mm.
through statistics and what's out there in the market, and like what what the statistics are about divorce rates and things like that, and how you don't want to be that. We're more, our generation is more thoughtful, I feel, and we're doing a lot more work to get to where we need to get to when it comes to the marriages aspect, because we've seen
Yeah.
how disastrous it's turned out for a lot of people, and we don't want it to be like that for us. But you can't control
Right.
it. But what I'm trying to say is you need to just put in work to be like, I tried my best to manifest the best partner that I could, and this is my
Mhm.
soulmate. And we also talk about the difference between soulmates and twin flames. A lot of people be running around with their twin flames. You know that.
So, give me a definition of twin flame. What does that
So
mean?
have you heard twin flames before?
Yeah, I have heard
Yes.
of a twin
So
flame.
twin
Mhm.
flames is similar to that narcissistic relationship. Somebody tearing you down, somebody who's not for you. It's very lustful. It's very like, I
Mhm.
can't wait to get in bed with you, like, or whatever. And
Mhm.
it's very physical. And so the
Mhm.
problem with twin flames is that they mirror you. You're
Right.
very similar to them. You have so much fun with them, but there's so much things that are going on within that relationship that are ungodly or like non-spiritual. So what ends up
Right.
happening is that person ends up, you either get married to that person, because some people get married to their twin flames by all means, and some people don't get married to their twin flames, right? But you don't want to be in a twin flame relationship, because it's just going to cause you havoc and problems. And then soulmates by Merriam-Webster the definition is, it's somebody who has the same temperament as you. But the way that the Yellow
Mhm.
Room actually defines it is as that soulmates are a relationship that you had a soul-to-soul connection with this person before you even came onto this earth. So before you came onto this earth, you met them on a soul-to-soul level. And then you on this earth, then you guys met. So in the Islamic perspective, we all met with God on a soul-to-soul level. And so when we did, like Adam was there and he like basically like saw all the souls and things like that. So what I'm saying is that that's where we all met as souls. So have you ever seen a soul where you're like, oh, you I feel like I met you before. Like, oh, you're very similar. Like, oh, we definitely know each other, girl, you know? I felt that with you, if I even say another example.
When we first talked, we were clicking right away. It was like boom, boom, right?
Yeah. So I'm just like, I know you, Ellie. Like, don't blame me. I met you before. So that's what I mean by soulmate. So you can have a soulmate that's a friend. You can have a soulmate that's a relationship. You can have a soulmate that's a partnership or even your family. And that's what the difference between soulmates and twin flames are. And a lot of people are gonna bring. I predict this. They're gonna bring twin flames and want me to discern if this twin flame is their soulmate. And it's gonna be tough conversations to be had because people are gonna want to know if this twin flame is their soulmate. So that's my clientele are people who are really like dabbling in with twin flames and don't know that they're in a twin flame relationship.
Scary stuff. And so do you believe, this is just a question I just popped into my mind, but do you believe in like love at first sight then? Or is that like a soulmate type of thing?
That's definitely, okay, so that is soulmate. Love at first sight is soulmate. So how do I explain that? Like, so when you meet your soulmate at first sight, like think about a soulmate even for you, right? Like that you've met at first sight, who's a friend or whatever. Didn't you feel that click at the first sight? That's the click that they're talking about, that love at first sight is, except it's more amplified when it's for a relationship. So I definitely 100% believe in love at first sight, but it's more like click at first sight. Like let's bring it back down. Let's not go too deep and say love and just say familiarity at first sight.
Right. So when you have a twin flame now, can that happen? Can you have that click, or is it like an imaginary click? Yeah.
It is a click, but it's usually lustful. It's usually carnal. So what you need to discern is this carnal or is this coming from my heart? So that's what people need. So the major issue, and now why does Kingdom Soulmates connect with mental health? Because your mind and your heart are two different functions. So you need to know how your thoughts are going, what your mind is saying, versus what your heart is saying. You have to know the difference. So your mind is like, okay, like that's a hot person, like I want that person, no, it's carnal. And then your heart's like, okay, I actually love this person unconditionally. Right? And so
that looks different.
And this is why we're focusing on relationships. So the Yellow Room, why would a mental health organization focus on relationships? People don't realize relationships are the most single important things that connect you with your mental health. Your mental health is all connected with the relationships you have with your partner, the relationships you have with your family, the relationships you have with your coworkers. So if you don't manage these relationships, then you're not going to figure out how to function properly within society. Most people come to therapy and what they're complaining about is a relationship. All it is a relationship problem. My husband did this, my wife did this, my kids did this, this is what's going on. I have this problem over here. I have a friend who did me this way. So we have to really work on relationships.
Right. It's 100% true. It's basically like everybody's always talking about some sort of relationship, work, home, personal, whatever it is. 100%.
So as soon as you figure that out, you got it.
Yeah. So talk to us. Tell us why this course is so important and why we all need to sign up.
Okay, so for me, the reason why it's so important is because love heals everything. Love wins all. The shift from fear to love, like love is so beautiful that you don't need to be in pain anymore. Baby girl, you don't need to be in pain anymore. Like, honestly, the pain doesn't need to be there. If you have somebody who already figured it out and now has a bunch of pillars to explain to you how to get through it, then put in the
Yeah.
work. God wants you to put in the work. Like, you're not gonna just walk up one day and be like, this is who I'm gonna get married to, like, or whatever. Unless you want to have a fluke type of relationship or just, want to end up in a mess. But if you really want to be intentional with the way that you go in your life, and I know
Yeah.
your audience is very intentional and my audience is very intentional, I know that these are people who would want to know this type of information. And then I also feel like it's a duty. It's a trust. Like, God trusted me to know this information. Now I have to
Mhm.
disseminate this information.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Big. That's huge. So talk to us about how we can sign up and all that good stuff.
So the sign up, so it's not up and running yet, but you can go and sign up at the yellowroom.ca/kingdom. I'll actually write it
Okay.
down now. Yellowroom.ca/kingdom is where you can sign up for the course. The course will be up and running in about 2 to 3 weeks, and it'll be there, and you can sign up. And it's going to be a price point. I won't say the price point
Okay.
now. I'd rather you guys just go onto the website, read everything, figure it out, and then know whether or not you want to pay for the course. But
Right.
it's going to be a paid course because people take things more seriously when they pay for it. Honestly,
100%.
if you're not going to put in that work and you're not going to pay for things to figure out your life and to manifest what you need to manifest, then you're not going to take it seriously. And I
100%.
want you guys to
100%.
be in class. I want you guys to be involved. I want you to be involved in everything.
Awesome. So what keeps you so motivated? You are definitely an inspiration. You are. So talk to us. Tell us what motivates you.
Hmm. Do you want me to say the quote for myself, or should
You
I?
can't say the quote, but also just what motivates you in general, like to get up every day and be putting in all this work, doing, staying on the grind out here for the masses, not only for yourself, but you're doing so much for everybody else as
What
well.
motivates me is my relationship with God. And so what motivates me really and truly is that I've seen the wonders He's done for me. I've seen the miracles that have happened in my life. And what also motivates me is I've seen the change that I've done in my life. And I
Right,
want to help somebody else get to that point and even better, right? What wakes me up in the morning is I wake up figuring out, hey, I'm that person who was once depressed, was once going through it, who once had no motivation, who once couldn't even walk into a room and have conversations with people. Like, I was so shy, and I was going through a lot of, mental health challenges. I was feeling like, I'm bipolar, nobody loves me, nobody cares about me. I had no self-love, I had no worth to me, no loving in me, you know? And so I was living in a fear-based thinking, and I shifted to that love-based thinking. So what motivates me is that every girl, every boy who's a youth, who's going through what I'm going through, who's a university student, who's coming out of school, who's just going into their career, what motivates me is to just wake them up and be like, hey, listen, it doesn't have to be painful anymore. You don't have to be in pain anymore. There's a way out. You are beautiful, you're loved, you're abundant. You can do these affirmations. There's ways around it. You can figure out your relationships. And I'll say the quote that I was going to say, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. That's my favorite quote. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
mhm,
So the reality here is when I realized that, I realized, hey, wait a minute. This whole time I thought life was just happening to me. I was given a diagnosis. I was treated this way. I was, I'm bipolar. I have all these problems. No, life happens for you. Okay, so you have that diagnosis. Get up, go to work, figure it out, meet new people, start up an organization, help other people. Like, come up with concepts, keep grinding.
wow.
you know?
Damn. And that's it. Figure it out. That's my like catchphrase. You just gotta
Figure it
figure it
out.
out.
Yes. You gotta figure out. There's no quitting. There's no
Right.
quitting till the end. You're even in your grave, you can't quit. Like, sorry.
Mhm.
Ah, until you're in the afterlife, you can't quit. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So that's what motivates me.
100%.
What motivates me is to really like, and I'm also trying to build, like, my long-term project is to build a mental health facility, and it's going to be called a Unity Center. And it's going to
Mhm.
be a place of, fairness and for people of color, for marginalized community, and just having people who understand each other all in one space. So yeah,
Big up yourself, girl.
wellness factor.
Um, yes, Michelle, I'm in the same position. Just got to keep moving. Yes, 100%. Good for you, girl.
You're like, big up
Good for
yourself. You think
you.
I don't big up myself?
Yes, man.
Listen,
Girl.
look what my shirt says. It says, sorry, my phone fell.
Ooh.
That babes empower babes. So that's what you're
Yes, 100%. 100%. 100%. Yes. Yes. I mean, everybody is out here and it's all we can say is you're doing it. You are doing it and you are an inspiration to so many individuals out here. There's a lot of people, whether they say that you are inspiring them or they keep it to themselves, you are definitely an
Oh, thank
inspiration.
you.
Yeah, going out there and being able to talk about your experience, and then not only just talk about your experience, you're empowering other people to embrace what they have going on with themselves and then keep it moving. Because as you said, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for
Yeah,
you, right? Oh my gosh, such a beautiful
thank
quote.
you. And the
Jeez.
quote, Tony Robbins says it, Wayne Dyer says it. I don't know who exactly owns the quote,
Right.
but I've heard it so many
Yeah.
times. Even
Yeah.
what's his name? The guy who smiles so much.
Les Brown?
Not Les Brown. It starts with an S. He has like these motivational
Um,
clips. You have to remember him. No,
I don't know his name. I can't think of it, but I'm sure I've heard
Steve
of him
Harvey.
before.
There.
Steve Harvey,
Yeah, Steve
yes,
Harvey said
yes, they
it too.
do. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these quotes are, you can see that they like, even though 101 people say them, they definitely have a lot of meaning. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely one we gotta keep in the back of our mind for sure,
We do.
100%. Right. Well, I just want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. And for sure, everybody, you guys have to head over to the Yellow Room. Check out the website as well. So give us the website one more
So
time.
it's yellowroom.ca.
Yellowroom.ca. And so when we are on the website, we can check out the shift, no, the kingdom, right? So it's yellowroom.ca/kingdom.
So Slash Kingdom will be when it's up and running in a week or so.
Okay.
But right now,
Okay.
they can just go on yellowroom.ca to get more information. DM me.
Right.
Honestly, I'm on Instagram all the time. Just DM me if you have any questions. Like, we'll have all that information for you guys for the course.
Awesome. 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 So I just want to thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story with us and inspiring us
I
today.
also want to thank you for having me on your show. Like, this was
You're welcome.
it was such a beautiful conversation. I didn't expect it to go the way it did. I mean, it was more enriching than I was expecting it to be. Like, when we talked about
So,
spirituality, it really changed me. Like, I was just like, and then some of the questions really made me realize that, I am doing a lot of work. I do downplay myself. I am really hard on
don't
myself. And so I really,
don't be hard on
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah, I really did. I mean, in this pandemic, you guys, sometimes you look at yourself and you're like, what's going on? Like, I could be here. I could have been there, but I could have been in Cuba, but they closed it off. Like, oh,
For
but
real. I hear
but
you. I hear
I'm
you.
very thankful and very grateful for you, and I'm so glad, and I can't wait for us to work together in more projects.
100%. And we'll definitely, this is not the only conversation. I would love to have you back on the show because, as you said, I enriched you, but you enriched me as well, and the masses out here that are listening right now and that are going to watch the replay as well.
All
So
right,
definitely, it was bountiful conversation. So you take
you
care
take care.
and we'll definitely keep in touch. We'll see you,
All
okay?
right, bye, bye, guys.
Bye. awesome conversation. This is such a well-needed topic. People need to talk about it. Whether you have mental health issues or you don't have mental health issues, whatever it is, this conversation was definitely something that you could have resonated with on one level or another. So honestly, guys, this was a great conversation. I just want to thank Amran one more time again for coming on. As she said, she felt enriched from the conversation, but we also were enriched by this conversation. Definitely want to head over to theyellowroom.ca. Check out Kingdom Soulmates when she pops that on. Are you looking for somebody? Are you single? You need to get in the course and figure out what you're doing. Think about that list, as she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, sometimes we don't think about what we need, to do. And I am like the queen of lists. Okay. If you come into my house, you will see I make a list for everything. You gotta make a list, because once you put things down in writing, there's something about putting it down in writing that just already helps it to manifest itself. So I make a daily list. I make a shopping list. I make a list of things I want to see 5, 10, 20 years down in the future for myself. I'm all about the list. Like, I have books of lists. So make that list and run over to yellowroom.ca. Okay, guys, I am going to go on like a 4-minute washroom break, and then I will be back at 8 o'clock because we have another awesome guest right here on What's the 411. All right, take it easy.